It's interesting because there was a report in the Economic Times, Jay, that said, I just read it a couple days ago, that said JPMorgan now holds over 750 million ounces of silver. That's more than $40 billion worth, and would be, if true, the largest stockpile on the planet. It goes on to say that they have not only stopped shorting the market as of recently, but they have completely flipped and become the biggest long in the market. And it said that in 6 weeks, they added 21 million ounces while closing a 200 million ounce short position. Registered are actually the bars that back the contracts. So JPMorgan pulled 16.6 million ounces out of registered inventory, and it left the COMEX. Now that's goodbye. That's never coming back. Once it leaves, it has to be reintroduced into the system, re-registered and assayed. It's never coming back. That would, in my mind, be someone like a Tesla or a Samsung or a Sony. And of course, that same channel talks about Samsung in an effort to get silver for their solid state batteries flying to Mexico, that same AI channel. And that may be true.
Andy Schectman has highlighted what he describes as a major shift in the silver market, citing reports that JPMorgan now holds more than 750 million ounces of silver and has exited a roughly 200 million ounce short position to become one of the largest long holders. He argues that this move removed sustained downward pressure on prices, while the bank simultaneously accumulated physical silver and withdrew significant amounts from COMEX registered inventories, effectively reducing deliverable supply. Schectman also points to growing global demand, particularly from China, which has been purchasing silver doré and concentrate directly from producers in Mexico and Peru, suggesting a tightening physical market and rising strategic importance of silver. Before we go to the interview, please like the video and subscribe to the Bullion Vibes for more informative content.
It's interesting because there was a report in the Economic Times, Jay, that said, I just read it a couple days ago, that said JPMorgan now holds over 750 million ounces of silver. That's more than $40 billion worth, and would be, if true, the largest stockpile on the planet. It goes on to say that they have not only stopped shorting the market as of recently, but they have completely flipped and become the biggest long in the market. And it said that in 6 weeks, they added 21 million ounces while closing a 200 million ounce short position. This is the 200 million ounces was the pressure that kept the price low. When you have traders come in odd hours and dump more onto the market, it just suppresses it that much faster and triggers stops. A lot of these longs will be run by algorithms or hedge funds that run by algorithms. And if a level is breached, it sells. And so they will come in the access market, as we saw a few weeks ago, which is when New York is closed and before it gets to Asia or in between either Asia and London or US and Asia, it doesn't matter. They are selling it at the most inopportune time when there is no liquidity in the market, when the traders are asleep, when anyone who was stupid enough to do that would be shot and fired, and probably in that order, in the respect that that's not how you maximize your settlement, your trade. You would do it in the middle of New York trading when the traders are active, and you do it slowly over time. So going back to JPMorgan, they closed out a 200 million ounce paper short, which again is the pressure that is keeping it down. And they added 21 million ounces in physical over that time. The buying pushes prices up. The article went on to say that they also added 16.6 or took 16.6 million ounces out of their registered inventory. In COMEX, there's eligible, there's registered. Eligible, we have 9 COMEX vaults around North America. One is Brinks JFK in New York. That is a COMEX vault. If you have 1,000-ounce bars in our program, as many do, those are eligible. They could be sold. They could be moved into registered. They are eligible to be moved into registered, but they're not. They belong in strong hands, and they're not for sale. Registered are actually the bars that back the contracts. So JPMorgan pulled 16.6 million ounces out of registered inventory, and it left the COMEX. Now that's goodbye. That's never coming back. Once it leaves, it has to be reintroduced into the system, re-registered and assayed. It's never coming back. That would, in my mind, be someone like a Tesla or a Samsung or a Sony. And of course, that same channel talks about Samsung in an effort to get silver for their solid state batteries, flying to Mexico, that same AI channel. And that may be true. Again, there is truth in some of what they're saying. But again, you're seeing big players because, look, China, as I've been reporting, has been going to Mexico and to Peru for the last several years, buying doré and concentrate right from the miners in pre-production stage before it's even called silver, buying it and bringing it back home. What's interesting is Mexico's number one, China's number two, and Peru's number three. So the number two producer in the world goes to number one and three, buys doré and concentrate before it's ever even becomes silver. Concentrate is a byproduct sludge of the mining process, and doré are crudely refined bars. Well, they think it's important enough to fly all the way to Central America or South America, buy it in unrefined form, pay double what the West will, ship it back to China to refine it. This is the second largest producer in the world. So going back to what I was saying, they pulled 16.6 million ounces out of registered, and off it goes. It's never coming back. They also did something that I wasn't really familiar with, and it's called, they moved 169 million ounces into non-deliverable vaults. To me, that's the same thing as pulling it out of the system. But that means the metal still exists on paper, but they legally removed it from the delivery system. Can't be used for COMEX unless it's re-registered. What you are seeing JPMorgan do is effectively removing metal from the delivery pool to get as far away from it as they can. And if it's true, and they are now net long, and the largest short position is now the largest long in the marketplace, this is a very, very, very bullish signal. A couple other things. I talk about how no one ever stood for delivery, right? In the first 12 days of the December delivery, which started the day after Thanksgiving, and you wonder why the server shut down Thanksgiving night, of the 1,000 commodities traded, just happened to shut down on the metals market. The servers overheated because there was obviously a bevy of activity on Thanksgiving night, and the traders left dinner to go lock in orders. No, it was damage control. But in the first 12 days of delivery that we've seen, now I haven't looked in the last 2 days, we saw 58 million ounces of silver delivered and 2.85 million ounces of gold, with contracts still being issued all month long that can stand for delivery. But ask yourself, who's got the money to stand for delivery on 58 million ounces?
Andy Schectman claims JPMorgan has quietly flipped from suppressing silver prices to becoming one of the largest long holders, reportedly controlling hundreds of millions of ounces. If true, why would the world's biggest banks remove metal from COMEX deliverable inventories while global industrial demand is accelerating? And if major players are securing silver at the source, is the paper silver market accurately reflecting the true availability of physical metal? Drop your thoughts in the comments section. And if you found this insight valuable, like the video and subscribe to the Bullion Vibes for more updates. See you in the next video.